Welcome back to Pack the Rock podcast with the Hoosier Network. Thank you for joining us. I'm your host, William Stewart. And alongside of me, Ian Plaskoff, and across from us, per usual, we're going to go Nick Rodecap.
Ooh.
And then Ava Wegenke.
I'm on the podium.
She's hurt.
You just swerved
she's so
me.
hurt.
I was
Did you see her
smiling.
reaction?
I
I
just
did. That was funny.
cheesed, and you swerved. Rude.
Hey, it's a road week. You got to be prepared for the unexpected.
Rude. We're not even 30 seconds into this, and I'm already getting picked on.
Ava got caught in a trap game.
Got to set the tone.
Yeah.
She took the rat poison.
That was not fast, physical, or relentless.
What a week. We got a lot to talk about.
Oh,
Yeah.
we're rolling. We're stalling at the beginning, and we're okay. We're rolling. I'm just going to start just throwing everyone off. The whole script's going out the window.
Oh, let's do it.
Yeah, we're still starting with week 4. I'm not actually throwing that out the window.
Ah.
Indiana, they won kind of convincingly. Depends how you want to call it. 63-10 over the number 9 team in the country, Illinois. They're not number 9 anymore, but they were. Fernando Mendoza, the Heisman favorite, Fernando Mendoza, 21 of 23, 267 yards, 5 touchdowns, and a 93.6 QBR rating in 3 quarters of football. He has thrown 10 touchdowns in 5 quarters of football in the last 2 weeks.
Is that good?
I think that's all right.
That's pretty good.
He might be playing on like rookie difficulty on NCAA
Yeah.
26. The rushing attack, per usual, went over 300 yards, 49 carries for 312 and 3 touchdowns. Kobe Martin once again leading the team, 12 carries for 107 and 2 touchdowns and 167 celebration. I'm not explaining that if I don't have to. Nick just did it. Omar Cooper Jr. with 6 receptions for 78 yards and a touchdown, and Elijah Surratt leading the team in all receiving categories, 9 receptions, 92 yards, and 2 touchdowns. The defense, they weren't too bad. They allowed 2 rushing yards in 4 quarters of football. Illinois' offense ran 6 feet forward. That's
Wow.
not bad.
If you
we
put it like
ran
that,
further going from end to end on the field between quarters to shoot the game.
Yes, we did.
Yeah. We
Yeah.
had more rushing yards than Illinois did.
We did.
That's,
We had a lot more.
yeah.
what's
Interesting.
funnier, that or James Carpenter out rushing Purdue last year?
I think James Carpenter, because he was a defensive lineman, but both are pretty
The
funny.
number 9 team in the country rushing for 2 yards is kind of funny,
It's
though.
almost like they never should have been ranked number 9.
We'll get there.
Well, yeah, we'll discourse.
Hold your horses, Nick Rodecap.
I'm a Colts fan, and we can't hold those horses back.
Okay.
They're rolling,
Indiana
man.
Jones.
We like our
They are
guys.
rolling.
They're rolling.
All right. Wrong
Shout
Indiana
out
football.
Colts. Just kidding. Shout out Lions. Go
I was
Lions.
saying, aren't you? Yeah.
Go Lions.
What are we talking about there? 30-0. What you know about it? Anyways, Indiana's defense, apart from holding Illinois to 2 rushing yards, they had a punt block touchdown from Diego Pons. We'll get to that too. Amari Farrell had a pick. There was 10 tackles for loss and 7 sacks. Indiana top 5 in the nation in sacks as well. My question is, how nice is the linebacker room? They're pretty decent.
Quite nice.
Yeah, they're not too bad.
They're not nice if you're an opposing offense, but
Well, clearly Illinois had 2 rushing yards.
yeah.
I can't get over that.
Also, the newly minted Defensive Player of the Week, Mario Landino, showed flashes last year, but man.
Dog.
You know, we talk about kind of like why Mikhail Kamara isn't making that big of an impact. It's because the interior D-line is so good. Like Landino and Tyreek Tucker. I mean, those guys are feasting. And that's a good sign for Indiana's defense.
Can't double everybody.
Yeah.
And more notables from week 4 before we totally move on. Byron Baldwin had an injury update. Sig heard about it on Monday. We don't know. He's still day-to-day as far as we hear about it.
He'll probably say something on the radio show tomorrow,
There's
I
a
would
good
think.
chance.
Yeah.
We'll let you know. Follow along with Hoosier Network and we'll let you know. Lewis Moore will hear about his eligibility at some point today. Another 2-week extension would shock absolutely nobody. The case is supposedly pretty strong for the NCAA, but again, who knows? Now, Saturday was a historic day for Indiana. They set a record in attendance of 56,088. They set a record for the most points against a ranked opponent in program history and Big Ten history with 63. They had the largest margin of victory ever by a non-top 10 team versus a top 10 team with 53 points. The record was set back in 1979, and it was 35 points. Once again, not bad. Not too bad.
So they broke the record by 18 points.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Surely everybody covering the game gave Indiana credit where credit was due, right?
I mean, do you think so?
No.
You want to expand upon that?
Well, no, I think I'll let you set it up. I'll let you throw up a little lob.
I mean, we could have smoothly went into it, and you just took it away on your rant.
Well, it's called unselfish ball distribution.
What a guy!
Gotta make
Team
sure
player
everybody
Nick
gets a touch.
Rodecap.
Everybody's got to get a touch.
This is like having Tyrese Halliburton as your point guard versus Trae Young.
Exactly.
What do you got against Trae Young?
Many things.
Oh,
Is it personal?
There's a reason he's a
damn.
perennial play-in candidate and nothing more.
Atlanta's got. You know what? That's not the point.
He doesn't have a lot of help. He doesn't have a lot of help. You're right.
Yeah. Okay. What Nick was referring to before we started talking about Trae Young, the newest ESPN article on Indiana football from Dan Wetzel. It came out yesterday at 8 a.m. Indiana University didn't seem to pick up wind on it until about yesterday afternoon. So if you haven't seen it on Twitter, the title or the headline reads, Curt Cignetti isn't here to play nice, and he may not be close to done. That reads really awkwardly for reading that out loud. In a synopsis, Dan Wetzel kind of gave Indiana their props for beating the life out of Illinois. And then came the question that's been asked, or the statement that's been said, however you want to phrase it, for the last, over 53 weeks. You haven't really beaten anyone. College football keeps waiting for the Bloomington balloon to pop. What if it doesn't? Now, he goes on and he does say there's the chance that Indiana does figure this out, but he says Cignetti still needs a really big victory.
Did he specify? He didn't even specify on the road?
It just says, yes, Cignetti still needs a really big victory. And then he mentions how Indiana will go to play Oregon and Penn State later this year. Nick reposted it on Twitter, had some opinions.
Yeah, it's actually a pretty well thought out column. The problem is the way he led into it is completely wrong, because the title and the headline are different. The headline is what everybody, including myself, that's what we were all so upset about, because he says, no, Indiana football hasn't really beaten anyone, but what if it's for real? This is coming from an ESPN, the same outlet, not the same writer, but the same outlet that called Illinois this year's Indiana. So because Indiana beat them by 53 points, it all of a sudden went from Illinois is this year's Indiana, they're a dark horse for the CFP, to Indiana hasn't really beaten anybody, which is what those of us on the sideline covering the game knew was going to happen if Indiana won the game like they did. And it's the same thing that kind of happened last year when Indiana was 8-0. ESPN still would not give them any credit. And it's pretty simple to figure out why, because if there was an SEC team that was 8-0, or if there was an SEC team that beat a top 10 team by 53 points, oh, this team's a CFP lock. This team is a national championship contender. This team could win the Big Ten title. But because Indiana did it, and Indiana disrupts the status quo just by being good, you flip it, and all of a sudden it's, they're probably going to fail at some point. And everything that they've done to this point doesn't mean anything because they've only beaten cupcakes somehow. It's very difficult mental gymnastics. But combined with this and the Heather Dinich CFP projections that came out on Sunday, which I talked about on my radio show already, but Heather Dinich saying that the committee will not value Indiana's win over Illinois as much as, say, Miami beating Florida, because the committee considers the intangibles of a rivalry game while acknowledging that home wins are easier to come by than road wins. Are you starting to see the mental gymnastics, the hoops you have to jump through to actually believe these lines of reasoning?
Well, and it actually gets better.
Yeah.
ESPN has this thing called the FPI.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
It's Nick's favorite thing. It's everyone's favorite thing. And ESPN loves to reference it. But notice how they haven't referenced it against Indiana.
Mhm.
Because I'm looking at it right now.
And Indiana is where?
Number 6th in the country.
Mm-hmm.
They have a 21.4 FPI, which sits only 2 points below first place, the Oregon Ducks, who they will play in all of 2 weeks. 3 weeks.
Mhm.
3 weeks. There's a bye week.
Mm-hmm.
I'll figure that out later. Indiana is number 6th in the FPI. 1 and 2, Oregon and Ohio State. 3.
That sounds
Alabama
like-
is 3.
That sounds like 3 teams in the top 6 with a Fox contract that may or may not play in the Big Ten.
Wow.
Indiana also has a 57% chance to make the CFP. 58 if we're rounding up to the nearest whole number.
We round here,
Yes.
which puts them at, take a guess,
Probably 6th or 7th.
6th. Don't.
Oh my God, man.
I'm sorry. No, but in all seriousness, it's a total joke. But it's not really. We talked about this last year on this podcast. Who is ESPN's #1 media partner? The SEC. Who does ESPN not have any share of the football contract with? The Big Ten. It really is that simple. They've got to hype up their own media deals while simultaneously diminishing everyone else. Indiana could beat Iowa by 35 on Saturday, which they probably won't, but they could, and ESPN would find a way to discredit that too. And they say, oh, well, yeah, they went into a tough road environment, but Iowa's not that good. It's going to happen because they cannot give Indiana credit for anything because Indiana's been a doormat for so long. And now the narrative is flipped and they don't know what to do. It's like their brains got rewired and everything's plugged into the wrong spot. It's actually really funny to watch.
As we're looking at the FPI, just an update for those interested. There is still one non-P4 team that is at the top in FPI. And that is the Old Dominion Monarchs at 51, the first non-P4 team listed in the FPI.
Wow.
I'm going to call it right now.
I thought you were making a Notre Dame reference there.
No.
Wow.
I'm going to call it right now. I will say it right here. Old Dominion will win the Sun Belt.
I can get on board with that.
Yeah.
Haven't you and Nick been saying that for like a couple
Well, I just wanted to make it official.
I wonder if there's a coach who, before playing Old Dominion, said that Sun Belt teams can give power conference teams trouble. And that Old Dominion did the same thing last year in giving a Power 4 team trouble early in the season on the road.
Is it a coach that wears a black tracksuit and winks a lot?
He loves winking, and I heard he likes writing stuff on his hand, too. I wonder if anybody's ever said that about Old Dominion in 2025. Oh, wait a minute. Kurt Signetti. Wow. If only somebody could have seen this coming. Oh, he did. He did, and he was right. He was right. Tell you what, that Old Dominion win could look really good for Indiana at the end of the season.
It already looks pretty good.
It does look pretty good. And what was one of the things that people used to discredit Indiana's win over Old Dominion? Old Dominion beat the snot out of Virginia Tech on the road. Virginia Tech sucks. It's the same thing. You diminish every opponent and every opponent's opponent, and you convince yourself that Indiana's not good. That's what they're trying to do. It's not working because people are seeing through it, like Ian Plaskoff and those of us here at Pack the Rock. But
In
I feel
other
bad
words,
for the people who can't see through it.
mad about Indiana.
Yes.
Is the way to put it.
Shout out Miller Kopp for only that, for him holding up the speaker so that people could do that. Not a fan of a lot of the other stuff Miller Kopp has done post-graduation, but he gave us that picture.
Walk in your trap, take over your trap.
Yeah.
I have the t-shirt. And one more thing, as we're talking about the whole discredit everybody. Wait till this weekend when Alabama plays Georgia. And when Alabama eventually gets blown out by Georgia. And they're going to call it a quality loss. If that happens.
It's already happened.
We're already saying if. Hypotheticals.
It's already
Welcome
happened
to the world of college
with
football.
Tennessee, Georgia.
That too.
Heather Dinich wrote in that column, the committee isn't going to penalize Tennessee for its 44-41 overtime loss to Georgia. It's a quality loss. She didn't say the word quality loss, but that's what she's implying. Oh, it happened in overtime and it was a close game.
It was a good game.
It was a really good game.
It was
yes.
a great
But
game.
because it was in overtime and, Tennessee's kicker should have made the kick at the end of regulation, he didn't. Who won the game? You see, wins and losses, I think, should matter more than anything else in those kinds of games. Margin of victory should also be a thing. Indiana beat Illinois by 53 points. You called Illinois a CFP contender, but somehow Indiana's not good.
Hey, Nick.
Are you guys? Do you guys see the problem
ESPN
here?
College Game Day pick between Indiana and Illinois?
Last year?
No, this week. Who did the College Game Day pick between Indiana and Illinois?
Neither.
No. You didn't.
Game day?
Illinois. They all chose Illinois.
Oh, you're talking about.
Except for McAfee. McAfee chose Indiana and
Reese
Reese
Davis.
Davis. And then Reese Davis in the fourth quarter as the game was going on, tweeted the GIF of Signetti when he was in Assembly Hall, and that was like, Purdue sucks, and so does Michigan, Ohio State, ha! And he did this, and then Reese Davis tweeted that GIF, and then said like, Google him, he wins. In the middle of the Illinois-Indiana game, which was kind of crazy coming from someone for ESPN.
Kirk Herbstreit was like sitting in a corner, and he was like crying and like rocking himself back and forth Because remember, this is a guy who was on the call for Notre Dame, Indiana, which ended up being the closest of all the first round games, except for maybe Clemson, Texas.
There's an asterisk
And he's like,
there.
well, but okay, but Tennessee, Ohio State was objectively way more lopsided. SMU never had a chance against Penn State. And Herc Herbstreit tried to tell you that, oh, I don't think Indiana even deserved to be here. So if Herbstreit was watching Indiana, Illinois, he was just, Indiana's good. He was crying like this probably the whole time. And it's weird because Kirk Herbstreit was a Big Ten quarterback, but he hates the Big Ten, probably because SEC money's lining his pockets. But it's funny because not only did ESPN's writers try to discredit Indiana, but it's a good point. Game day, the majority of those analysts picked Illinois. So how is it that you can pick Illinois and then Indiana beats the snot out of them and they're not good? It's like Simone Biles level gymnastics going on here. They're somersaulting around every possible logical line of reasoning, and they're just saying whatever's most convenient in the moment.
I think a big shout out is deserved to Edward Cotton. I don't know how to pronounce his name.
Eddie Cotton.
In the extended highlights, which are fantastic.
He's so good.
He revisited the game day picks, and Kirk Herbstreit's voice was turned into a baby voice, and I thought that was very funny.
Of course it was. That's awesome.
HN founder Eddie Cotton, actually.
Shout out.
Yeah.
Shout out.
Without
indeed.
Eddie Cotton, we would not be sitting here.
No, we would not. Well, and it's funny, too, because, I don't remember who it was, but one of the pickers on ESPN also was like, oh, yeah, Illinois by, 1 million because their defense is so good. And then the defense was not good.
That's tough.
Not
Okay.
good.
So if Illinois' defense, and I know they had some injuries in the secondary.
I had a few.
Yeah.
Not
but
53 points worth of injuries.
did the injuries force you to give up 300 rushing yards?
Did the injuries force you to have 2 rushing yards in 4 quarters of football?
It is kind of weird that in
how
college.
do you have 2?
It is kind of weird that in college sacks are counted against rushing yards, for the team, because in the
That's
NFL they're
true.
not. But even if you take those out, I think they had maybe 60,
Yeah.
which is not good.
No bueno.
Not good.
I believe Luke Altmaier had negative 57 yards just based off sacks.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah.
Move your legs, homie.
Yeah.
Get to running. Now that we've said our piece on ESPN, everyone's favorite part of the podcast, Nick referenced this guy who writes on his hand.
Yeah.
We have cracked the code if you're not familiar. It's just, Sig wrote on his hand on Saturday. It says attack and then 3 names.
Chris, Jim, Mike.
And we were all like, what could it be? Could it be players on Illinois? What person under the age of 40 goes by Jim, first of all? That should have been our first strike. Who's named Jim on Illinois' football
That's
team?
a good point.
It's the refs.
Yeah,
it's
it
the
is.
name of the
The
referees.
The head referee was Chris Coyle, the umpire Jim Shaw, and was it the center judge? Yeah, Mike Stumberg.
And notably, Mike is not named Slot at KG Sports Photography.
Yeah.
How did he make that?
Shout out KG for getting the picture, but Cal needs a higher prescription. Is that what you'd call it?
Yeah.
I don't wear
Yeah.
glasses. I wouldn't
Yeah.
know. That's a U2 question.
Stick to the clicking the button thing, Cal, because you're really good at that. Really good. KG Sports Photo on Twitter. Oof, he's cooking every week.
But yeah, so we don't know what Sig's attacking. I think that's the secret that he was talking about.
Yeah.
But the names on the hand, it's nothing that groundbreaking as much as we thought it could be. But I mean, would there ever be a defensive back named Jim in 2025?
Never say never.
I'm gonna say never.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
We were, while we're talking about Twitter, can I
Oh, no.
propose that we revisit our?
yeah.
We were talking about what would come out of the Burnerverse before the season started, and it's safe to say we did not see any of this coming. My 3 favorite things so far. One are the Fernando Mendoza eyebrow. That's a good one. The all I will say is hammers for number 2.
Good censorship.
Free
And-
Carlos Hoosier.
And the third one came yesterday out of our HN group chat, ironically, of Diego Pons.
The eyebrow.
The eyebrow, yes.
Oh my gosh.
Diego Pons is the new one. And I think just because it came out of our group chat and made
There's
it
a
big
lot
time,
of bias there, yeah.
I think that one's pretty fun.
I got an Angelo Pons quote tweet out of that. The context for the Diego Pons thing is that Pat McAfee, his show, they were talking about Indiana football, and they showed a highlight package of the Illinois game. The first clip that comes up is D'Angelo Pons' blocked punt touchdown, and the guy reading the highlight says that blocked punt was by Diego Pons. So I put a sombrero and a mustache on him, and I said, Diego Pons? And it took off. His dad quote tweeted it. So shout out Angelo Pons, but graphic design is my passion. So if anybody needs a graphic designer,
Do not hit up Nick Rodecap.
who can also run his mouth, I'm not your guy.
No.
I'm not your
Second part, we can get that done.
guy. Yeah.
Also, breaking news as of yesterday, there was a hammer in the team room yesterday.
You're kidding.
Yeah,
I'm
no,
dead
yeah,
serious.
yeah. It was by the entrance, sitting upside down against the wall.
Untouched and
Yeah.
unused.
Is it safe to say that's the Carlos Hoosier effect?
There was a flag.
I think it's the Carlos Hoosier effect, and it's beautiful.
What are thoughts on the eyebrow? The eyebrows. It's
Can
a
you do
great
it?
reaction photo, I think.
It's not quite Curtis Pork.
No,
Can any of you raise a single eyebrow?
No.
he can.
That's
Fernando Mendoza.
totally getting screenshotted.
Yeah,
Oh, no.
me when no, I'm not. No,
Me when Nick Rodecap goes on a Twitter
me
rant.
when ESPN exists.
Yeah.
Walked right into that one.
Oh man.
Oh, okay.
Well, there's our clip for the podcast right there.
How about Iowa? Kirk Ferentz said some interesting things
How
about
about
Indiana
the
yesterday.
AP poll?
Oh,
Yeah, we're going to, Nick's already jumping our,
We're not to Iowa yet.
he's jumping the run. I mean, I did say we'd change up the rundown.
yeah.
We're not going to,
Yeah.
but,
The AP poll is stupid and bad
Well,
until proven otherwise.
I cannot wait for Penn State to play an actual game this week.
Yeah, surely they've been knocked the same way Indiana has for pretty
Surely-
much playing the exact same schedule.
Surely Penn State is 3-0 with 3 cupcake wins, and they're definitely not ranked number 1 in anybody's AP poll ballots.
well, let's find out, shall we? The new
They're
AP poll
ranked
for this
number
week.
So silly.
Indiana lands at number 11. That's the headline everyone that's watching this podcast cares about. But Ohio State still reigning number 1. Shocker. Penn State, they fell to number 3.
What?
5 people think they're
Oregon's
worth
still at
number
6. That's wild. Michigan up to 19. USC up to 21. Illinois all the way down to 23. And I just like to mention where Notre Dame's at. They're 22.
Somehow.
At a 1-2 record and giving up 30 points to Notre Dame.
Have you ever, or I mean, giving up 30 to
Senior reign,
Purdue?
Sorry.
Giving up 30 to Purdue. Have you heard the Q word? Quality loss. That's why Notre Dame's still in the polls.
You said Q and I thought Quentin Johnston. I don't know why.
As in suddenly able to catch a football, Quentin Johnston.
That's the one.
I feel so bad for Jackson Dart. First NFL starts against the Chargers defense. Ooh. With no offensive line and the media pressure of New York, even though you play in East Rutherford, New Jersey. Oof.
As we're going back to the AP poll
yeah,
here,
what we're actually supposed to be talking
there are
about.
a couple commonalities that I have noticed here, specifically with the Penn State number 1 voters. Brian Howell of Colorado, Penn State is at 1. Indiana is at 15, where Indiana has a top 10 win. Penn State has 0 quality wins. Mason Young of Oklahoma has Penn State at, you guessed it, 1. Indiana at, you guessed it, 15. Same concept. That's an interesting one as well. Penn State at 1 from Pete Yanity of Clemson. Indiana at 13. Ranked behind Texas Tech and Ole Miss.
They beat Notre Dame.
And
Texas
Ole Miss.
Tech?
Go on,
No,
Texas Tech.
no, not Texas
Was
Tech.
that A&M?
No, Texas Tech beat Utah.
Texas Tech beat
Oh, that was
Utah.
Utah.
That was one of the ugliest
that was a
games I have
horrible
ever
game.
had the displeasure of watching.
Shout out Big Nick.
Kirk Kenny of San Diego State, Penn State at 1, Notre Dame at 10, Indiana at 14.
Just admit you don't
and then-
watch the games, man.
Then to wrap it up,
oh my God.
I don't know how to pronounce the first name. The LSU, I don't want to butcher that. LSU's
Probably Koki.
ballot, Penn State at 1, Indiana is at 10.
Okay.
LSU ranked at 8. I respect that. The top 5 is interesting. It goes Penn State, Miami, Georgia, Ohio State, Oregon. With
Where's
A&M to
where's
follow
the
at
USC
6.
voters ballot at?
USC is
I just, I'm just
she
starting.
deactivated her Twitter.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Did she not vote?
oh, you mean the actual voter?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, What did Haley Sawyer do this
She did because it's not listed on this AP
Is she
poll
even an AP
thing.
voter anymore?
Yeah.
Yeah, but they don't list her socials anymore.
Oh, that's
but
true.
She did vote.
Because you're
Yeah.
admitting
Vote.
you're
Her top
admitting that you vote
five.
based on vibes.
Her top 5 were Ohio State, Penn State, LSU, Miami, Georgia. Her next 5 were Oregon, Florida State, Texas, IU, Oklahoma.
She's notably the highest
Oklahoma.
Illinois voter of the whole ballot.
She is. She put Illinois at 19.
It's only 19. Jason Tatum.
She put Alabama ahead of Tennessee.
I don't know where you were going with that. I really didn't.
The anomaly.
Stop. We're not calling
No, nobody calls
We've
Jason
had,
Tatum the anomaly.
We've had more references to the NBA on this
Yeah,
episode than
we're
we have
just-
in the last 2
My
years.
favorite is Aaron Neesmith being the paperclip.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Pretty
Um,
good paperclip.
My
huh?
favorite is Ben Shepherd's being Nick Rodecap.
I am Ben Shepherd. Yes. Without the beard and with the shorter hair, I don't
Oh,
really
man.
look like him. But this summer, I looked a lot like Ben Shepherd.
Here's who wins my AP voter ballot of the week. Notably has Penn State at 10, Indiana at 8. Sean Goodwin of Boise State.
Ooh.
Much respect to you, Sean.
Thank you, Sean Goodwin.
Valuing wins.
Clip
Yeah.
that and send it to him.
Yeah.
Just so
Yeah.
you know.
Shout out Sean.
At Sean Bronco Beat on Twitter.
Atta
Sean
guy.
Bronco beat.
Had a guy. That's a good Twitter handle, too.
That is. That's solid.
Good on him.
Now, somewhat questionable A&M at 16, but I digress.
Feels low.
Yeah. Hey, you take the little victories when you can get them, I
Right.
think.
And before we still get to Iowa, we were having this discussion last week, and I said we'd table it. A trap game. All 3 of you said Iowa was a trap game.
Did I? I did?
Did we?
I
A
did.
trap game was said 100 times in this podcast.
I don't
feel
think-
like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Trap game was said a lot.
I said it was a trap game.
I didn't go back and watch the footage.
Have
but
your
I'm pretty
people
sure all
talk
of
to
you
his
did.
people and they can
Yeah,
figure it out.
my
the-
people will be contacting you because I don't think I said it was a trap game.
Here's the counterpoint.
We said trap game a lot. Hold on before we move on.
I did not say it was a trap
All
game.
right,
Leave
okay.
me out
So
of it.
if Ava didn't, at least half of the people in this room said it was a trap game.
Yeah.
If even half, if the majority calls it a trap game, in my opinion, it's no longer a trap game because you're all expecting some tough matchup because then it's not a trap game.
Counterpoint. After hearing Kurt Signetti and seeing what went down in week 4, it might have been the case that Illinois was the trap game, where Iowa was the tougher challenge. Signetti said the other day on Monday that Iowa possesses a much more difficult challenge than the last one being Illinois. And notably, it was pretty obvious that Indiana wasn't too worried about Illinois, and Iowa is a more difficult matchup for Indiana just based off of its strengths, it being a road game, it being at Kinnick, Iowa homecoming, with a quarterback that had his best week of his Big Ten career in Mark Gronowski. So maybe Illinois was the trap game. Maybe.
Maybe the trap game was the friends we made along the way.
Yeah, Illinois the trap game?
Well,
I never last week's results were not surprising because I never thought Illinois was going to be that great.
I should phrase it
I
differently.
did not ever
I was
believe the
gonna say, I don't-
chatter.
Yeah.
I did not ever believe the chatter. I thought it was a bunch of crap. I stand my ground.
I will change the phrasing. Indiana was much less concerned about Illinois than it was about Iowa the following week. Not necessarily from a trap game perspective, but from on a game-by-game basis, the assumption that Illinois would be a lesser challenge than Iowa could have played some kind of factor. And they were right. They scouted the game correctly, blew out Illinois, and now I think Iowa, the toughest game of the year, up to this point, awaits. That's my thought.
No question.
So what I've concluded is that Iowa's not a trap game, and that we don't know what a trap game is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
say
all
that.
I've gathered from this. Now, you know what? I'm just going to move on. We're not even going to say that piece. We're going to actually move on to Iowa. It's a tough matchup. It's not a trap game. You're going into Kinnick Stadium, which holds a lot of people. I don't know how many exactly, but it's a lot of Iowans. I wasn't going to say the acronym for Iowa. If you know what it is, it's spelled out by the 4 letters in the state of Iowa. You can draw your own conclusions. They are walking around though. Iowa won 38-28 last week over Rutgers on a Friday night game. Gronowski had a pretty good day, 12 for 18, 186 yards. No touchdowns, but no interceptions, 70.5 passing record. He extends his record of being the winningest Division I quarterback ever. He has won 52 games at the Division I level. He's won 3 at the Power 4 level. The rushing attack for Iowa, 38 carries, 160 yards, and 4 touchdowns. Their new starting running back, Kamari Moulton, was 14 carries for 68 yards. Not a bad day for the young kid. And 8 different receivers caught passes from Mark Gronowski, so he will spread the ball out. And it is worth noting that their offensive line of at least these 4, Bo Stevens, Cade Piper, Gennings Dunker, what a name, by the way.
That's
and
a great name.
Logan Jones were all top 8 in the PFF grades. 4 of the 8 were on one team. There's 5 offensive linemen, and 4 of them are, top 8 in the country. That's not bad. And to elaborate on Jennings Dunker, he is pretty consensus the best tackle in the Big Ten, at least according to The Athletic. He, before the season, was asked how he feels dominating the defensive line. He said it feels like crack.
Drug test him.
That's a direct quote.
That sounds like an Iowa
crack.
Hawkeye right there.
Yeah, Jennings Dunker, man. I would not want to line up against that guy. It's a multiple offense. They will be under center. They'll be in wing. They'll be in spread. It's gonna be a lot of looks for the Indiana defense. It's a lot more to prepare for. Now, granted, Ferentz has ran the same scheme for how many wins is he at this point?
The most in Big Ten history. I know that.
And he's been running a scheme for that, and including the losses. So it's definitely more than a few games. It's the same with the defense. They're in a 4-2-5 or a 3-3-5. You can call it whatever you want. Last week they had 3 sacks and 3 tackles for loss, so they will cause some havoc. It's the nickel all the time. They're running a lot of man. The pressure's not too imminent. It's definitely not a plenty as Indiana schemed last week against Illinois. Some notables about Iowa: their starting running back, Jason Patterson, out with an ankle injury. His backup, the freshman, Xavier Williams, out, which is why I mentioned that Kamari Moulton is now stepping in as the starting running back. And the largest issue for Indiana is actually Iowa's returner and gadget man, Caden Wetjen. He's averaging over 30 yards a return between punts and kickoffs, and they will give him the ball on end arounds and jet sweeps and screens out of the backfield and all this just gadget talk, really. How do we feel about Iowa? Now that we know that it's not a trap game, we've established that.
I just love reading this scouting report because you could write the exact same thing with other players and it would be the same Iowa team that it's been for the past ever.
Probably.
I do think it will be an extremely physical game. I think Indiana will score fewer points than usual against this Iowa team.
Does that mean less than 50?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I think
what a shame.
It's between 30 to 40.
What a shame.
I can't see this team scoring fewer than 30 in a game.
7 or 5 touchdowns.
Yeah.
What a shame.
But, Iowa
Only
has proved this is a difference with Iowa. They have proved that they can potentially throw the forward pass and play a modern style of football.
Hey, he did it 10 times.
Yeah, I mean, he said he completed.
They weren't all forward, though.
8 different receivers caught passes, which means they completed 8 passes. So that's a development for Iowa. They're always going to run the ball well. They're going to play good defense. They don't have the kind of NFL caliber players this year that they usually do. They have had in past years. Weegin definitely is one of those players. And I'm interested to see how much they use him at running back with those injuries. Do I think Indiana will win? We'll get to that later. But I think it'll be a challenge, but Indiana should be okay in my eyes.
The other thing that, you did mention earlier, Ian, is that Sig did come out and say that the matchup against Iowa is tougher. He said it without directly mentioning Illinois, but he said tougher than last week. But yeah, the scouting is not as difficult as even Illinois was because they run the same thing and it's nothing new under the sun. The thing is, they're not going to hurt themselves. The penalties are not going to be plenty. There's not going to be mistakes in this game. You just have to beat them, which Rutgers did beat them on a lot of plays last week. There was a lot of, actually, the pass plays. Iowa's DBs did not look great. They got beat a lot. They actually had their starting corner get benched in the second half because he was getting beat that often. And the pressure just doesn't get home. Their D-line they'll push the line back, but it's, they're not getting home as consistently as, say, Indiana's defensive line or Ohio State's defensive line will do, or Notre Dame's defensive line did last year. Plaskoff is a stat.
Yes. With that information, you think back to week 1, Fernando Mendoza threw 13 incompletions, no touchdowns against Old Dominion. Since then, he's thrown 10 incompletions in the next 3 games combined with 14 passing touchdowns, 58 of 68, 85.3% completion. So the RPO game will probably be highlighted again against Iowa with these quick, easy passes for him to make. And also defensively, you talk about Indiana getting home. They lead the country in tackles for loss per game. I believe they're top 5 in sacks as well.
They are. They're top 5 in sacks. They're top 5 in a lot of national stats, actually.
I have that too.
Mm-hmm.
There was a quote that BTN tweeted yesterday about how Kirk Ferentz described Indiana as a little bit like playing Ohio State. And that quote on its own is kind of, huh?
Excuse me?
But when you dive into it, actually, you can see where he's coming from. He talked about Indiana having a big physical offensive line, 2 effective tight ends. By the way, shout out Riley Nowakowski.
Yeah.
Indiana kind of concerned, I think, about replacing Zach Horton, but Nowakowski seems to be filling that role very well. And then the receiver group, he said they're all good individually, assuming he's talking about Surratt, Omar Cooper, and EJ Williams. As a group, he said, quote, it kind of takes you back to Ohio State where you pick your poison. And then he goes on to say that if he had a Heisman vote right now, guess who he would vote for? Fernando Mendoza. Heisman-Doza. He said he would vote for him because he gets rid of the ball quickly, and because of the offensive line and his mobility, it's tough to get a hand on him. And then he says also they're aggressive and good on defense. And he says, I forgot about special teams. First touchdown against Illinois was a block punt. Other than that, there's no problem.
That was a list, though. It was a laundry list.
Yeah, no, Ferentz was very complimentary of Indiana, which, by the way, Signetti talked about it last year. You can't take the rat poison. That's rat poison. That's him trying to build you up so that your head gets too big, and then they tear you down in front of 69,250 of the finest Iowa fans in the land. So it's going to be an exciting game. I've never been to Kinnick Stadium, so I'm excited to go.
Yeah.
I'm excited to do the wave.
That would be cool.
A lot of tradition in Iowa City. But Aiden Fisher described it as a business trip, which kind of reminds me of what they said about UCLA before that game.
Remind me, did that go pretty well?
That went pretty well for Indiana. I think Iowa's going to be a much tougher shout than UCLA under the now defunct Deshaun Foster. But Iowa 0-10 in its last 10 games against ranked teams. And Kirk Ferentz said, well, to get a win this weekend, we got to score more points than whoever it is we're playing, which...
Good analysis.
That's a good strategy. But
I
no.
concur.
You talk about Kirk Ferentz's complimentary nature to Indiana. Well, here are the numbers to back that up. They are top 3 in FBS in these offensive stats. 30 touchdowns, that's first. 17 passing touchdowns, that's first. 30.5 first downs per game, that's first. 1,235 total rushing yards, that's first. 588.5 total yards a game is second in the country. 208.9 efficiency grade, second. 54.8 points per game, third. 308.8 rushing yards per game, third. And 76.1% completion, third. Defensively, tackles for loss per game, they're first. They're top 5 in sacks. Individually, Fernando Mendoza leads the country in touchdown passes. Omar Cooper Jr., Elijah Surratt tied for second with 5 receiving touchdowns. They've done pretty well for themselves.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Damn.
Yeah.
That was damn.
Yeah.
That was a lot.
That was a lot. There's more. I didn't have everything written down.
Of course, actually, half of those he ripped off of the top of his head. He had none of the defensive stats written down.
Goodness gracious, Mr. Plaskoff.
The 4.6 GPA. Hard
Yeah.
at work.
Tell you what, though.
Can I say?
The biggest concern that I have with Iowa, I guess there are 2. One is Indiana has not shown yet under Curt Cignetti that it can handle a hostile road environment. I think this is their best chance out of the 3 that they've had so far to do it. The other 2 being Ohio State and Notre Dame, which would have been impossible for pretty much anyone besides Michigan and Northern Illinois last year. The other, of course, is the return man.
The hard way, baby.
Caden
Go Huskies.
Weightgen. He is he's like the Jimmy Johns of return men. He's freaky fast. And I think
that was pretty good.
The best way to avoid him ripping off a 100-yard kick return touchdown is to do what Brendan Franke has done all year for Indiana as their kickoff specialist. Just kick it through the back of the end zone. He's been really good about that, and that was one thing Sig said Indiana needed more of in the kicking game was touchbacks. And so far, Indiana's been good with that. But if you aren't a touchback machine this weekend on special teams, then that is serious trouble.
It's worth noting he did house the opening kickoff against Rutgers.
Yeah.
Untouched.
Yeah.
He went strip the seam.
No, yeah, that was
sideline.
It's also worth talking about the punt game, too. I know Indiana hasn't punted much, but Weegen also returns punts and a very dangerous candidate to do so. It's a very interesting situation with the Indiana punting room. Mitch McCarthy was healthy last week, but Quinn Warren was still punting for Indiana, the pride of Rebuff Jesuit Preparatory School. Warren's looked good punting. You need to find a way to not have it. May be even worth it if you're close enough to just punt it into the end zone on purpose.
Yeah,
and just give him the 20. Don't let Weegen return.
Better than 30.
And, you guys are on the same page. Wow.
Here's what I have up, and then I look across from me, and look what he's got up.
Ball knowledge.
The entire state of Indiana is rooting for punting between Saturdays and Sundays,
Tom
and their
McCarthy,
teams are
man.
both undefeated.
Tom McCarthy threw a stray at Iowa football on the Colts.
That
Titans
was
game.
crazy.
Yeah. He's like, if Colts fans, if you don't know what a punt is, check out Iowa football. But to Iowa's credit, I mean, they have an
They
offense
didn't
now.
have to punt on Friday.
Yeah, no, Mark Gronowski's been hooping.
And on the flip side, if we talk about Weegen returning, Indiana, this is another thing they're first in the country in, is punt return touchdowns. Technically, if you count Brady and if you count Pons' touchdown off the block, that counts as a return.
Counts. Yeah.
Indiana's first with 2 punt return touchdowns.
That's a punt. Is that really counted as a
It
punt return
is,
touchdown?
yes. Because it's no different than Jonathan Brady muffing the ball, picking it up off the ground, and running it back.
He blocked the punt, though.
He still just made
Hold on.
hand contact with the football.
Yeah.
Indiana is tied for second in the country. 2 blocked punts, but it feels like there are also a couple that have been deflected.
They've gotten their hand on at least 3 or 4.
Yeah, I feel like they've had 1 in every game.
Yeah.
Just by the eye test.
Also, Indiana had 10 on the field when D'Angelo Pons blocked that punt.
Wow. So, sheesh.
That's my favorite stat from that play.
Yeah, I think the special teams play for Indiana has been really good.
3 phases.
Yeah. And
all 3 of them.
They talk about it, and it sounds like coach speak, but it's true. It's true because Indiana's offense kind of a shaky start against Illinois. Pons gets that punt block, and then Illinois takes a shot, and that was it for Illinois offensively. And what the big thing was, too, bad field position for Illinois because of sacks. You're punting in the shadow of your own end zone, which in turn sets up easy drives because the offense doesn't have to cover more than 60 yards. Which, by the way, that's like the only knock on Fernando Mendoza is that his counting stats aren't good because he isn't playing the whole game. That's how badly
5 quarters in the last 2 games.
That's how badly Indiana's beating everybody right now.
In the 5 quarters that he's played, he's thrown 9 touchdown passes.
Yeah, so he's averaging nearly 2 per quarter.
Yeah.
Which is pretty efficient.
Also, Brett Bielema was a little bit fooled on Indiana having 10 on the field. Maybe they did have 11 with D'Angelo and Diego Pons on the field at the same time.
Yeah.
Oh, man. This is going to be a fun game, though.
Brett hunched over.
Oh, he
also
was
funny.
Yeah.
That
Kurt
was also
Signetti
a good
breaks
moment for
coaches.
the Burnerverse.
Yeah. He breaks coaches, man.
The pan
great.
from Bielema in that hunched over position to Kurt Signetti with a disgruntled look on his face up by 50 was just perfect.
Yeah.
Coach, what more do you want to see of your team after halftime? More points.
Laughing. And in case you
Dismantled
actually
it.
were unaware, this is my favorite picture used lately.
Lump that in with Sharon Moore and Matt Rule from last year.
Redact that second name, please, and thank you. Till further notice.
Mr. Panthers fan.
Yeah, 7-year plan.
The 7-year plan.
Oh Lord.
I think it's the crock pot recipe at Nebraska that they were going for.
Oh, he went off of the whole Jay-Z 7-year plan thing.
Well, it was a writer who talked about it last year. Basically, Kurt Signetti, the argument was that Kurt Signetti's approach is unsustainable and that Nebraska being mid for a little bit and then being good is better.
Nebraska still cannot beat a ranked opponent.
Correct. Iowa also, again, 0-10 in their last 10 ranked games.
Something will give there. They're 0-10 in their last 10 ranked games, but Indiana has not won at Kinnick since 2007, and I believe Iowa's won 13 straight at home. So Something will give.
Some streak's going to end.
And need I remind you of what happened in 2021 when Indiana went to Kinnick Stadium and was ranked? It was 14-0 Iowa 5 minutes in, and it was 31-3 at halftime. Yeah.
That did happen.
Yeah.
So a streak will end on Saturday, which leads me to record predictions. Whose streak is going to end? We'll update the standings after we do the predictions. Now I'm going to switch the rundown.
Guys.
Nick.
Yeah.
What's your prediction? Who
For
do you
this
think
week?
whose streak ends on Saturday?
Being Indiana's bad.
Winless streak or Iowa's winning streak against Indiana?
Well, I said Illinois would win by 4.
Yeah,
last week.
we'll get to that.
You and I both.
Well, hey, we'll get to that.
Yeah. One of my former bosses at the Greenville Flyboys down in East Tennessee texted me and said, "We rocking with the Hoosiers this week?" And I said, "I like Indiana by 1 score. Coincidentally, I think the spread is 7.5, but I don't like sports betting. I'm not feeding the machine, FanDuel, so don't try me. Give me Indiana. I'm going to switch it a little bit. 35-24 over Iowa. 35-24.
Ava?
That'll play. I don't disagree with that. My score prediction is 31-17 Indiana.
I'm
Senor
100%
Plaskoff?
honest right here. Nick stole my exact score prediction.
Ooh.
I will adjust it slightly.
You're going to back down to that? Stand on business.
No,
Crazy gaslighting, by the way.
I'm going to
on
try
business.
and score more points than Nick by having
Don't
a
let
different
him
score.
intimidate you.
Because if we're both right, that is less good than me being right and him being wrong.
We are separated by just 1 point in the standings, so I like the
Correct.
approach.
Nick, you're really far
We're
down.
taking a fast, physical, and relentless
Wow.
approach to this score prediction game, and I will go with 38-24. Indiana tacks another field goal on.
Nico Radicic mentioned. Him and his different sized letters on the back of his jersey,
That-
Adidas.
And
By the way, thanks for remembering that Indiana football exists, Adidas. Thank you. Thank you so much. Wow. We provide Indiana with uniforms and apparel? Oh my gosh.
Who just
Shut up.
rage baited you into that?
Was that
Holy
Ryan
cow.
Cotter on Twitter who was
Yep.
like, yeah, hey Adidas, are you gonna post about Indiana? Oh, it only took a beating Illinois by 53 points. Yeah, thanks guys. Appreciate it.
Nick, I'm glad you have absolutely no strong opinions
No,
on
I
this
just
topic.
I don't criticize Indiana athletics about a lot of things, but man, when they re-signed with Adidas, I was like, really?
So what do you think about like Tennessee and Penn State going to Adidas?
Yeah.
Well, Tennessee, I spent a lot of time in Tennessee. They got some interesting characters near Knoxville.
I love
Shocker.
Knoxville.
The thing is, no, Knoxville's great. I loved it. I had lunch at Calhoun's right on the river. Cool restaurant, man. Great city. Passionate fans. Tennessee signing with Adidas. Do so at your own peril. Or, excuse me. Yeah, peril. Penn
Or
State.
apparel.
Penn State, you will always be the perennial. I'm not even going to say that, actually, because that could come back to
No.
bite me in November. But Penn State's a big enough brand to where that Adidas is going to remember that they exist. But for some reason, Indiana just gets like the Lil Bro treatment. Kind of like how every rivalry has the Illinois chair. That's like what Indiana gets treated like with Adidas. I didn't like that move by IU Athletics. Plus, if you're a recruit, Nike makes cooler stuff. Jordan makes cooler stuff than Adidas does. The only thing Adidas has going for it is the Ultra Boost. But like, if I wanted to buy a Fernando Mendoza replica jersey, I can't. Or if I want to buy a D'Angelo Pons jersey,
DH
they're going to put a 0 next to the 5.
Yeah, that was
What are we
crazy.
doing?
That was bad.
What are we
They
doing?
did fix that, though.
Oh, yeah, only because people got angry about it on Twitter. But that should never happen when you're a Big Ten school signed with a billion-dollar company in Adidas.
I understand you're not going after Penn State because
They could dig up receipts,
they
and I don't want that.
I have been called quite a few things by Penn
yeah.
State fans for tweeting
Things that
numbers.
I
we
say stand
can't
on
say.
business.
I know my IQ's pretty high, but according to Penn State fans, it's 2.
They said that to you.
They did.
In this
That's
comment
two.
section.
Which
I will
is
not say the other
approximately-
thing.
Yeah, what? Yeah, let's not.
Let's see. I was gonna take a dig at James Franklin.
He's bald.
2. How many possessions did Penn State lose by in the Big Ten championship game to Oregon last year? I think it was 2.
I think so.
Yeah, it was like 48-34 or something.
If you 0 would have been an easier number because you could have just said how many big
How many
games
big
does he
games
won,
does James
but
Franklin win? Yeah.
All right, we'll get to trash talking Penn State in a few weeks. But for now,
we need your
I
prediction.
was going to say,
Yeah.
I was not prepared for the
The
Adidas rant
Adidas
today.
discourse.
That's been a problem for years.
It has.
Okay, I already forgot what everyone even said. You said 38, you said 35. What did you say? 31?
Yeah, I said 31-17, Indiana.
Everyone's picking 30s.
And all of us,
Does that mean
well, no, Ava and I have 14-point margins of victory, and Nick has 11.
Yes.
Now I have to ponder.
Mike Woodson.
Pull up the Mike Woodson.
Diego.
Apologize.
Diego and Iego.
Diego Buns. This is a
I think-
live look in at Will Stewart.
Look who's taking their time to make a
pondering.
score prediction this week.
Well, I wasn't prepared for the Adidas
Look
thing.
who's
All right, chill on
taking
me.
their
You've been going at me
time.
all week. Chill out.
You know, one of the biggest things in sports
All
media
right,
is you have
I
to
got-
think on your feet.
Yeah.
I'm trying. Currently, I'm thinking on my bucks. I'm gonna
Yeah.
Aha.
You see, this is
You
elite
guys-
stalling, by the way. I've got Indiana. I'm gonna go 30-14.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Huh.
I think they get to Gronowski too much.
Yeah.
As great as the O-line is, you can't stop.
Who's feasting more, Mario Landino, Tyreek Tucker, or Mikhail
Probably the
Kamara?
interior.
The-
I would
excuse
assume
me, the interior?
Yeah, I'm going to go with Tucker and Landino because that seemed to be a thing for the last 4 weeks.
Yeah, on the outside, you have Ron Colley graduate Trevor Lauk locking down.
He's
Everybody
locking
in.
How
down.
do we do the Indiana high school shout out every
Well,
week?
okay.
I
mean,
am
this is
not.
just
I do
impressive.
not condone shouting out Ron Colley for anything.
Well, here's why I brought
and
it up.
you of all people should
The
this
high
know
school
better.
game,
wave, I don't know.
this game has many characters in it. One, Jay Higgins graduated from Iowa last year
He was
and
good.
is on the Baltimore Ravens,
Yeah.
the best Brebeuf Jesuit football player probably ever.
He was so good.
And Trevor Lauk in the Circle City Conference, Ron Colley. Brebeuf has representation with Maverick Geske, Quinn Warren, Finn Walters for Indiana. The Circle City Conference is well represented here.
Surely
with Indiana
Cathedral's
and
in a
Iowa.
conference. Oh, never mind.
Notre Dame type beat.
Literally, it's kind of weird. It's kind of weird. There are a lot of parallels. They were established by the same order of priests. They
All
wear
right,
the same
right.
uniforms. Yada yada yada.
Indiana high school football lesson for a different day.
Yes.
Let's recap the predictions because we had about 3 different conversations trying to do them. I said 30-14.
38-24 Indiana.
31-17, Indiana.
And 35-24, I think is what I said.
Yes.
Is that what your final answer is?
I think it's what I said before. If not, then yeah, 35-24. I feel like that's what I said though.
Plaskoff will go back and read through it. Now for the important part is the actual update. Are you war chopping right now?
And the tomahawk chop.
She's doing the choke crazy.
The spirit of
You're
Jalen
okay.
Lucas.
All right. She's doing that because Ava is winning right now. She has 6 points.
Back on top. I
In
know
second
ball.
place, I have 5 points. So it's not like she's up by a touchdown here.
I'm still up.
It's a point. Chill out.
I'm still
In
up.
third place, actually, we'll go straight to 4th place.
Oh, okay. Wow. Punching on a man while he's down. Yeah.
Nick Rodecap in
Yeah.
last
Down
place with 3
by
points.
3 points to the leader.
It's-
That's
Crazy.
not
I can
crazy.
make. I'm gonna
Ian
make.
has 4, by the way, in
I'm
third
gonna make
place.
Thank you.
all of
Crazy.
that up. I'm making all of it
no,
up this weekend.
you have. You're really gonna have to. You are so far behind.
One
she's
3-pointer,
talking.
one
I don't
5-pointer.
think that you can. I'm going to hold my stance until the
You know,
end of the season, and
talk-
nobody can beat me. And I will talk my
You
talk,
are-
and I will stand on business.
No. No.
Nobody.
Your mouth is
going to
writing
beat
checks.
me.
Your predictions cannot cash.
Yes, I'll cash all
No.
of them.
If you wanna test that, just
all
bet.
of them. Because
No.
who chose Illinois last week,
I
and
did.
who is down by 3? Who
I did. I picked Illinois. Stu picked Illinois.
is down by 3 points
Stu
right
picked
now?
Illinois.
Trying to tell me.
How many? Wait.
They know better than me.
You-
are literally down by 3 points. Like,
I can make
when
all of
you-
that up in 1 week.
when you could, if you're not.
We like our
You
guys.
could ever beat me.
I like where I'm at. I like where I'm at.
So Adidas.
Yeah, I like where I'm at, and I like where I am. I think we're set up for a good back half of the season, and these predictions for the rest of the year are going to be fast, physical, relentless. And even though we're down, we're going to remain smart, disciplined, poised. Because what this is right now, this is rat poison. Let that be a lesson to Indiana football as well. Don't take the rat poison. This is rat
If
poison.
there was
They're
an
trying to get in
AP
my
poll
head.
right now, I
It's
would
not
be
working.
in one. I'd be in first.
AP poll sucks.
I,
They don't know how to evaluate talent.
they put me in first.
That's my.
They know I have talent.
But
They
have
know
you-
I
have you really
I
beaten
run
anybody
a
good
great
yet?
defense.
Okay, all right. Y'all gotta stop fighting, man.
Nick has-
Okay.
It was a quality
It
loss.
was a
Okay.
quality loss.
It was a
You
quality
have
loss.
had no quality
have you
losses.
considered-
You're literally in last and
Fight's
down by
over.
3
Fight's
points.
over.
Considered
You
Fight's
literally
over.
last and down by 3 points. You have no quality losses. Your losses are
They're too busy fighting. They're too busy fighting.
bad.
Thank you for joining us
Quality wins.
on the Pack the Rock podcast this week. I've been William Stewart. Next to me, Ian Plaskoff. And the two that are fighting across the room that I've muted their mic, Nick Rodecap and Ava Wegenke. No, you guys have said your pieces. Oh, no. Okay, oh, Lord.
Let me say one thing. I'm repping the 7-time champ, Jimmy Johnson.
He is.
Jimmy Johnson made a living out of doing just well enough in the regular season in NASCAR to make it to the chase. And once he got to that back part of the year, what did he do? He ran the table. This is the Jimmy Johnson mentality, okay? Back half of the season, that's where I earned my money. That's where 7-time earned his money. And we're going to do the same thing.
I'm on a Nick Saban level of legendary run right now.
Okay, all right.
Where you were paying your
And
players
I
under the
am-
table for years.
Okay, and back to the outro. Thank you for joining us on the Hoosier Network podcast. This is Pack the Rock podcast with Hoosier Network. I'm William Stewart, Ian Plaskoff, Nick Rodecap, and Ava Wegenke across from me. Make sure to follow along with the four of us on Twitter for all your Indiana football updates, and make sure to follow along with the Hoosier Network for all your Indiana athletics updates. We will see you next week.